I think if I had not have fallen over so badly in my previous profession, I don't know if I ever would have done it. When you get a phone call, when his name pops up, it's still surreal. You're gonna go, ah. Who doesn't love a unicorn? They're just cool, man. Hi, I'm Jordy. I'm a painter from Australia, living in France, sitting in my studio. Welcome. So I moved here with my wife, Rach, and my two sons, Sonny and Milo, and my two dogs. Come on, you go outside too. Ali. This is where I work.
What were you into as a young kid?
I was a big jock, actually. My cousins used to say I was a big basketball head. So I was into footy, tennis. I have a background in marketing. In terms of an art form, music's always been my main thing I was into. My dad influenced me into stuff like Stones, Led Zeppelin. I used to DJ. I DJed for a few years, so tech house, deep house, everything. So, and it was really my wife who got me into making art. She taught me how to do things. I didn't know the difference between acrylic and oil. She got me started in every capacity, yeah.
Where does your love for France come from, knowing you used to both live on the other side of the world?
When we had Sonny, it was either Italy or France, and we literally flipped a coin. So yeah, we ended up in France, started reading a lot more and understanding a lot more and realising the impact that Paris and France has had on the way that we think now from a philosophical point of view. So I think for me, France impacts a lot of things that I believe in and I like. It's an awesome place.
What were the people that inspired you?
There's a great Australian artist called Fabrizio Viviano in Melbourne. He's an outstanding artist. He's someone I look up to massively. And then, of course, you get your standards like Matisse. Matisse seems to find his way into everything I do. He gets so much shit for the stuff he did early in his life, and he kept on plugging away. And then just at the very end, when things look like they were done, he starts making collage. He's the king.
What would you say was an experience that made you change your outlook on art?
I've had two. There's two really profound ones. We went and saw the Academy at Thailand in Denmark in 2017. In a lot of ways, I always thought art needs to be perfect. And, you know, the things kind of falling off. You could see the process he went through and you could see how alive the paintings were. So that was huge for me. It was really good for my confidence. Before that, it was a lot of reading. It was reading about Paris from 1900 to 1920, and then walking those streets with my wife and Sonny when he was 6 months old. Basically, a lot of big work in here, or a couple of paintings I haven't finished. It's a very old building. It's 400 years old.
And sometimes they're a ghost.
Occasionally. Oh, there's some weird stuff happening, but I'm not scared.
How did the move from being full-time artist happen?
I think if I had not have fallen over so badly in my previous profession, I don't know if I ever would have done it. So as much as that failure sucks, it also really pushed me into an uncomfortable area. I think I'm just very, very lucky in that sense. To come from a darker place to a reasonable outcome.
How does it work for you when it comes to creating a piece as well in regards to the ideas that pop up or the inspiration?
A lot from like music. My sons, so Milo and Sonny, things they say, things they do. Even just obscure things like when they're building Lego or Duplo blocks and they'll come over and they'll show me a monster or a garage. They trigger other ideas that then you'll go and investigate further.
How do you choose to represent tigers, cobra, unicorns, the specific meaning?
They're just cool, man.
You don't love me!
Comes back to the boys again. Sonny and Milo started doing two heads. They've got these really pure minds with no boundaries or constrictions around ideas. And I like the idea of countering social norms.
There's a woman in your painting, and I've heard that it was your wife.
Some people see it as sexualized. I definitely don't. I just like the form and the figure of it. Again, going back to Matisse, when you see the way he used to draw the female figure, they're just like next level. But yeah, so she makes an appearance from time to time, sure.
Do you remember the first piece you sold?
I don't remember who to, but I remember selling it for $200. And my wife was like, $200? What's wrong with the person? I think she thought the person who bought it was crazy. It was a weird feeling because it was like a feeling of excitement and also imposter syndrome. You know, like that feeling of like, I don't know if I should be selling this because I don't know if I'm really a part of what it is. Do you call yourself an artist? I don't know.
Was there things that surprised you that you were not expecting when you entered the art world?
Yeah. I mean, there's some really good things and some really bad things. It's not particularly inclusive. There aren't a lot of people genuinely rooting for you and wanting to give you a hand, which I think is really sad. And I actively try not to be a part of that at all and help when I can. So that was a bit of a smack in the face. I mean, the other thing also was the breadth of art appreciation in general. I mean, coming from Australia, it's a physically large country and a very small population in comparative terms. So I didn't have a huge understanding of how big admiration of art in general is and how profound it was for some people. So that was really lovely, you know. I still pinch myself regularly at how lovely that is.
Did you have any encounter that stick with you?
I've become friends with one of the best artists in the world, which has been a very humbling experience. He's been kind enough to share his experiences. When you get a phone call, when his name pops up, it's still surreal. You're gonna go, ah.
Can we know who's the artist?
I think so. I don't know. If you read any contemporary art books, they'll talk about living masters, and he's one of them. He just found me on Instagram and we started chatting. And then when he was like, I want to buy a painting off you, I thought, fuck, come on, mate. Why? You know, why would you want a painting of mine? So he's been incredible. And then you got the polar opposite of that is like going to Brussels a few weeks ago and a little boy bought me a drawing of one of my snakes that he made. And that is equally, in other ways, equally as impactful. And I think it's really lovely. And this little dude, you know, made me a version of my snake. And honestly, it looks so much better than mine, you know, because it was made through the eyes of a young child.
We were at the Jordy and Rachael show in Paris. How did you prepare for this show?
We discussed the idea of having a two-part show. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we weren't able to do the second part. The first part was to be really big paintings, and the second part, smaller paintings. A very different feel. Jordy and Rachael are, in my opinion, two of the best curators and one of the best galleries in France, hands down, because they are risky, they think outside the borders of France as well, you know, they have a broader vision, and they're just good people.
What upcoming projects are you working on at the moment?
In October, I've got a two-person show with Anastiasia with Anna's Arena Gallery, which I'm really pumped about. You know, Anastasia is one of my favourite painters. She's an absolute superstar. And just gearing up for next year, some stuff in Hong Kong. And I'm making a really big painting for Julian and Matthew, a big 4.5 by 2.5 metre, which you know, scares the shit out of me, but it's also really exciting. Maybe I can do it in a way that I can flex as well, like sort of hold it and go, this sculpture here, it'd work if I had muscles actually as well, if I actually had some sort of bicep definition.
Thanks so much, Jordy and Rach, for showing us around. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned with all the super exciting videos I have coming up. Thanks for watching. Bye!